Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Namaskaram to God. The last we saw yesterday, we were trying to understand the concept of success. We took reference to the very two famous verses from the Gita. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuhu ma te sanghostva karmani. Your right is in action. Action only. You have no right over the fruit of your action. So by renouncing your attachment, renouncing your cravings, you can convert action into worship. You can divinize your action. You can make a mundane action spiritual. A mere mechanical, mundane existence becomes a purposeful life by renouncing your cravings and attachment to action. By performing your same activity, but by renouncing, you will be able to uplift yourself spiritually. The next verse that we saw, Ananyāścintayanto mām ye jana paryupāsate tesham nityabhiyuktānām yogakshemam vahamyaham. You will attain yoga. Yoga is that spiritual union. He amongst you who is here, who dares to aspire to reach that spiritual goal of union with your own self, it is that one transcendental desire that you need to pick up from the maze of your own worldly desires. All of us have this desire to get back to the self, but it is many a time it is lost in the maze of other worldly desires. And one who holds on to that desire to get back to the self, that desire to get back to the self is known as mumukshatva. That desire, that burning, yearning desire for liberation. So you want to attain spiritual success, so those rare few who would aspire that spiritual perfection, or the end block, the majority of the masses who are seeking some glory in the material world, either way, whether you want material success or you want spiritual success, this verse gives you the formula, Ananya Chinta. At some point you will elevate your goal, even to whatever goal you want to aspire. This Ananya Chinta. Ananya Chinta is to be able to perform your action with a spirit of consistency. What is consistency? Consistency is to perform an action repeatedly, again and again, again and again, again and again, until it takes you to the goal. You don't have to change your action. You don't have to change the performance of action. You have to inject that ability to keep that action going. And that's a very rare quality. All of us understand the importance of a certain quality. We appreciate it, we admire it, but we fail to implement it again and again. And in that lack of consistency, we fail to reach our objective or the goal you wish to reach. And that's where we asked ourselves a question yesterday. What is the question? Why is it difficult to be consistent in anything that you do? It doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual, please. One of the things I often harp on is to get up during the Brahma Muhurtam, to invoke God, to invoke the higher wisdom in your it's known as the sattva, the sattvic hour of the day. Sattva only manifests 2 hours in a day. Rajas manifests 12 hours, 10 hours is tamas. So 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. is sattva, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is rajas, 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. is tamas. After sundown, all kinds of tamasic activities will start. They wake up. They get warmed up, and then later you go into the night, they get heated up. Everything dies by the time the Brahma Muhurtam comes. So just a simple activity is get up in the morning and study the Shastras. How consistently can you do it? Test yourself. Sir, that is too much, sir. 4 o'clock getting up is yo. Summertime I am not able to sleep. That is a different story. But other times, so. In fact, I must tell you, sir, the best time to sleep is morning 4 o'clock, sir. Enna sleep, sir, on the time la. Even if earthquake comes, my roof collapses on me, I don't think I'll run out of the bed. I don't think I can come out of the bed. That is the most conducive time. But it is the most precious, the most valuable time. So the question is, why is it difficult to be consistent in life? Any answers?
Keep shifting your goals.
Keep shifting your goals.
Mind seeks novelty.
Mind seeks?
Novelty.
Novelty. What do you mean novelty?
Something new.
Mind seeks novelty.
Lack of focus. A lot of distractions.
Lack of focus. A lot of distractions. You're all right. What else? I am not going to listen to Setuji. The moment he is saying, I'm turning my head another way. Anything else? Why is it difficult to be consistent?
Lack of discipline.
Lack of discipline. Sorry? Surrendering to senses. You don't surrender to senses, you fall a prey to senses. The language of word is not right. Surrendering is for a higher cause, falling a prey is to a lower. Right?
Yes.
Lack of commitment. Lack of determination. Right, I think you all have said so. The reason I don't have the time. If the amount of text I got to cover, I need another 1 hour. I'm going to beg you all to give me some time, but however, let me try and squeeze through it. So the reason why people are not consistent is because there is no application of the buddhi or the intellect in any action that you perform. When an action is driven by the mind, so your actions can either be prompted by the mind alone, your actions can be driven by the intellect alone, or your actions can be prompted by the mind and intellect, combination of both. But when your actions are driven by the mind alone, what happens is the nature of the mind comes in. And what is the nature of the mind? As you know, the mind is said to be a monkey mind. And what is the nature of a monkey? Sthira and chanchala. So it doesn't stick to a path, it doesn't stick to a course, it doesn't stick to a direction. So it keeps jumping from one thing to other. So the nature of the mind is it is also the root or the seed of all desires, right? So many desires your mind has got. So the mind keeps getting distracted, the mind keeps getting vacillating, the mind keeps jumping from one thing to other. And if you don't want the mind to jump, you must police it. You must use a higher faculty. You must use your intellect and say, keep your mind on this job right now. It's possible that your mind is in the classroom. Another 10-15 minutes passes, your mind will slowly try to slip into something else. Something will come, your mind will entertain a thought, and you may be carried away with that. But if you are sharp and say, hey, come on, I don't want to fall a prey to you, shut up, I'll come back to you later on. I want to be in this classroom. So you concentrate. Concentration is at a point. But if anybody in this classroom can keep your mind in the classroom for 1.5 hours, from 6:30 to 8 o'clock, keep your mind, not a moment your mind has left this classroom, I will prostrate you at that very moment. If you are able to do so, you must be having a phenomenal intellect to be able to concentrate for 1.5 hours and receive everything that is said, not digest, receive everything. Impossible. Your mind will not cooperate. So people are not consistent because your intellect is not backing. In fact, the definition of meditation, which not many people clarify it in the true spirit, meditation is the art of keeping a mind to a single thought, to the exclusion of all other thoughts. This everybody says. Oh, concentrate on something in particular. But you must concentrate, you can only concentrate your mind on a chant or an idol or a symbol with or under the supervision of the intellect. If the intellect is not there, it is not meditation. Most people in the name of meditation are only indulging. Indulging in an idol, indulging in a form, indulging in something that they are fascinated with. Perhaps I'll come back to that subject some other day. But you can't be consistent because you're not operating on intellect. But the moment intellect comes in, you'll be able to make your actions consistent towards your chosen goal. Alright? Now, another famous verse, I will paint another picture of how to find success in life. Mai sarvani karmani sangham tyaktva sangham sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yodhyasva vigatajvaraha. This 30th verse of the 3rd chapter, in fact, is said to be the spine of Karma Yoga, the backbone of Karma Yoga. You take away this 30th verse from the Karma Yoga, the 3rd chapter, the 3rd chapter is incomplete. So you want to practice Karma Yoga, you must practice this verse. Renouncing all actions in me with thoughts resting on the self, free from hope and attachment. Nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. Fight without mental fever, Arjuna. In fact, it's so difficult to extract that wisdom from this verse. When you read the translation or when you look at the verse, you don't know what the verse is saying. Believe me, this was one of the verses I struggled for many years. My guru repeated many times, you read 100 times but it doesn't get into you. Certain segments always baffled you. Your intellect was not mature to understand it. But once you got it, oh my God, you got the bull by the horns. Not by its tail. You got it by the horns. Once you know it, then you implement it. My God, that you get the real gist of it. I don't have time, luxury, but I'll explain to you what the mantra is saying. The mantra is talking about an ideal action, and any ideal action has two essential aspects. One aspect of an action is it must generate energy. It must be productive. Another aspect of energy is you must avoid dissipation of your existing energy. This is an ideal action. It must generate energy avoid dissipation. Now, how do you generate energy? That you generate energy at 3 levels of your personality. At the physical level, you are dynamic. Dynamic means replace inaction with action. Barring this particular venue, everywhere I go, I don't use a lift. I can't afford to use a lift, the stairs, because imagine walking 4 floors in this heat and I perspire. I will not be able to presentable myself to you. But wherever I go, I use the option of stairs and the lift. What is it? I am injecting action where there is inaction. So when you put your body into dynamic action, the more active you are, the more energy the body generates. When you become inactive, when your body becomes senile, it loses its vigor and vitality. So the fundamental principle of spirituality is inject action at every step of the way. Right from morning to night, be as active and dynamic. At the physical level, when you put your body into action, body generates energy. You'll experience it. You look at the life of a sportsman. How much energy they've got. There's so much. You get tired looking at them. Slouching. Imagine me slouching and talking to you. Ayyo, so morose. This fellow is struggling to sit upright. Back is erect. No question, no compromise. You have to keep your body in good repair. Your body is a mere vehicle, sir. I'm not telling you to worship the body. Keep your vehicle in good repair so that it serves you in the long spiritual journey. My body should not become an impediment in my journey, right? So how do I keep it repair? Whatever exercise you need to do, stretch it out, push it, keep it dynamic. The body will serve you. There's energy from the body. At the mental level, surrender your likes and dislikes to the goal. If you keep running behind all that your mind entertains, your energy gets dissipated. But if you say, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, this is not necessary, that is not necessary, I will shun from falling a prey to my mind's likes and dislikes, then you know what you have to do in life. There's a clarity. So your mind cooperates, and then your intellect, all actions it directs to the goal. Imagine when water is directed to one point, what do you get? Hydropower. What they are doing, they're channelizing the water to a single direction. This is sort of a laser. I don't want to point to at you, but if you see a dot, small insignificant dot, it is, what is it? It is pointing the whatever little light this AAA battery can generate to a point, so it becomes a pointer. With light I can cut through steel. Energy. What is happening? There is enough light here also now, but it's all scattered. But the moment it's all directed, channelized to a particular point, there's energy. Wind harnessed produces what power? Windmills, through that they generate energy. Why? There's enough wind, but you need to harness it. So if you are able to harness all your energies to a chosen goal with an intellect, through these 3 forces you generate energy. Phenomenal energy. You will never get tired, believe me. You're wasting your energy. So first is generated, then avoid the dissipation of the existing energy. Whatever you have should not be dissipated. Now where is it getting dissipated? First of all, past worries. It is a full-time occupation, these 3. Very busy. Full-time job, lifetime job we have got. What unnecessary worry? Sometimes you worry, why are you not worrying? Arre, how come I'm so calm? I should start worrying about something. And that's also a sign of old age. Vruddhastavat chinta saktah. As Adi Shankaracharya says in Bhaju Govindam. I'm tempted to chant the mantra. Let's chant the verse. Balastavat krida saktah tarunastavat taruni saktah vruddhastavat chinta saktah parame brahmani kopi na saktah. Complaining. Nobody has time. Parame brahmani kopi na saktah. Nobody has time to think of me. Why? As a child you are playing with toys. As a youth you are lost with passion for name, money, power, status, family, girlfriend. Passion for many things consume your life. Then comes time where worry takes over. Vriddhastavat chinta asakta. Worry. Your granddaughter or grandchild doesn't come 10 minutes late. Worried. What happened? Where are you? Why is it? Who? How? He? That thing. Train is traffic jam. I couldn't board this train. Next train I'm coming. Why are you worried, Tata? The grandchild is talking to the grandfather. What is the grandfather's job? Worry. So you waste your energy in the past worries. The past is dead. Remember, worrying of the past is like going to a crematorium and digging the grave. Would you ever do that? Of your own near and dear, would you go and dig the grave of your near and dear, forget strangers? Why are you going to a graveyard and worried about what is in the ground? Leave it. Let that be. It is dead. They say past is dead. Don't worry of the past. Future is unborn. Anxiety for the future. What will happen? Hope that happens. I wish I get this. That kind of a constant waste. And also you get unnecessarily excited in the present. And I'm not excited. When I raise my pitch of voice, I'm not excited. I'm Shanti. So you got to practice this. When you practice these two, which is generate energy, avoid dissipation, you will what? Invariably achieve success in your life. There is no two way about it. Nobody can take your goal away from you if you practice this principle. A matter of time. A matter of time, you will rock the world. The problem is nobody understands. As I said, I was grappling with this verse for years. One thing I couldn't understand is what does he mean by mind surrendering and what is intellect? I couldn't understand the difference here. So if you don't understand, I am with you. But I don't have the time. Please bear with me if I am not able to expand it further, but I've thrown light on it so that you get the gist of what it is. It's explained in the book. Most likely it's captured in the book. Is it captured? It's captured. Some of you who don't have it, pick up. Those who have it, open it and read it. First comes picking up, then opening it. So first step you can cross the hurdle. No? Next step we'll see later on. Next is peace and contentment. How to find peace and contentment? If I were to ask you, I will see wisdom flowing like the mother Ganga flowing. I will see Ganga flowing towards me. I don't want to ask you all. I know so much of wisdom we have got. We know so much to talk. But the problem is, there is such disparity between knowing and living it. Do we really find peace and contentment in our lives? Are we really contented? Are we really peaceful? It's a question you got to ask yourself. I'm not sitting here and judging you, nor should you sit there and judge me. MYOB. என்ன சார் தெரியாதா? MYOB கேட்டுங்கோ, சண்டை கேட்டுங்கோ, சொல்லுப்பா, அப்பாட்ட சொல்ல. அப்படிதான். Mind your own business. Don't waste your time in trying to see, oh, is this that fellow? No, nosy, very nosy, pokey. Find your own life, take care of yourself. If everybody takes care of ourselves, the world is a very beautiful place to live in. I don't take care of, I am more concerned of you, you are concerned of me, I am concerned of them. What is going on? So, peace. How do you attain peace? A very famous verse from the second chapter, 64th verse. This verse comes in the section of the Sthita Prajna, a man of perfection, and he says there, he gives you a formula to find peace. Ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayanindriyaischaran atma vasyair vidheyatma prasadamadighachati. What is this? Some mistake? Engade? Parole. I take the blame, not the person who sent me the verses. Which verse is this? This is not the verse. Parvala. But this is the verse, Ragadvesha Viyuktaistu Vishayanindre. Those who took the photos delete it. Transliteration is correct, okay. Half you delete it, half you keep it. As per the instruction, I am only following instructions of the boss. Now what does the verse say? But the self-controlled man, free from likes and dislikes, moving amongst the sense objects with his senses under control, attains peace. What the crux of the verse is? Prasadam adhigacchati. When do you get prasadam in your life? When you don't operate, don't act on likes and dislikes. Throughout the Gita, particular in the 3rd chapter, he says, your own likes and dislikes are your enemies. They are your perpetual enemies. They are your constant foe. So you should never act on your likes and dislikes. The moment you operate on your impulses or likes and dislikes, you have lost your peace of mind. I guarantee that is a thumb rule. The thumb rule to find peace is you act on your likes and dislikes, you have lost your peace. How do you, what's the logic behind it? Remember, we are living in a world where the world around you is not designed to cater to you. If I live in India or I live in Hyderabad, I don't like summer. These 2 months, 3 months, I will be miserable, complaining, grumbling. Why is hot, summer hot, complaining. Why? Because you don't like summer and the world is not going to change. The world is going to be what it is. Isn't it? So the world around you is not designed to cater to your individual expectations or your individual desires or wants. And when the world doesn't cater to you, you are left disappointed, dejected, wanting. And you lost your peace of mind. You fail to realize the world is not going to fit into my mental frame. The frame size and the picture size are two different things. How will it fit? It's not. So you must learn. So what is opposed to expectation? What is the opposite of expectation, sir? Huh? Before acceptance is another step. From the first to the fifth, third step is there. Third step enna? Realistic, not far. Tolerance, sir. I am tolerating you all. You should not tell. I am tolerating. What is opposite of expectation? Then what to do? Sit and do bhajana. That is easy to say, not to expect. What is it? See, we are giving you a solution. You operate on, you expect your staff or your employees to do what you want, and if they don't live up to your expectations, who will be disappointed? Not they, you. Isn't it? So if you want to find harmony with your colleagues or in your work atmosphere or create a charm in your environment, wherever you are, you can't operate on expectations. You got to operate on assessment. You must learn to start assessing, taking measurements of what the world is, what each individual is. Each of you is different. The team that I deal with day in and day out, I need to assess what they are, who they are, what is their capacities, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what they can, what they can't. If I expect what some person can't do and I expect him to do the job, and I put a higher expectation, I am the person who is going to be deeply disappointed. Don't blame the person who doesn't have the capacity. I must blame myself for expecting one who doesn't have to live up to my expectation. Who is to be blamed? Him or me? Him or me? Hey, don't blame me. Yourself blame. Just give an example. I was trying to check here. Waiting for a chance to blame the Guru. I said, blame me? You sir, you are to be blamed. Uncharitable people. So uncharitable pa. Hare Krishna. Nanu Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama, Solidna Avalva. So you must assess. If you don't assess, you have lost your peace of mind. And this is a very beautiful saying, a Japanese saying. A Japanese saying, it says, you measure twice, but you cut once. Once you cut it, it's gone. Isn't it? Before you cut it, you measure twice. A beautiful saying.
So do we assess and then expect?
Once you assess, then you align your expectations to the person. Assessment only rationalizes your expectations. Expectations is to operate on your mind. I can ask whatever I want. But intellect, when you operate on intellect, is assessment. Operating on intellect is reality. This is what it is. You take a stock of it. You fail to take a stock, you have a problem. You don't know what you're dealing with, and you get in trouble. And that trouble is mental accidents. When you have mental accidents, you lost your peace of mind. If I know who I'm dealing with, just an example. If I, don't quote me wrongly, there may be little truth. Can't hold back, no. Imagine if I were to say my wife is nagging. There is no truth in it. I am not looking to my left side. I am only looking here. Sureshi, நீங்க தான் என்னோட சேவியர். காப்பாடுங்கோ. ஆண்டவா கிருஷ்ணா, நீங்க தான் என்னோட சேவியர். நான் உன்னோட வீட்டில் வந்து தங்குறேன் இன்னைக்கு. சாப்பாடு கொடுங்க, நான் அங்கே எங்கள் ரூம் கொடுங்க, I'll sleep. வீட்டுக்கு போக முடியாது இன்னைக்கு.
This is one dimension where the guru and disciple are in the
same boat. நீங்க சொல்லல, நான் சொன்னேன், அதான். சார் ஒரு டிஃபரன்ஸ், நீங்க சொல்லல, நான் சொல்லிட்டேன். அது கான்சிக்வன்ஸ். எவ்ரி கர்மா ஹேஸ் அன் ஆக்ஷன் கான்சிக்வன்ஸ். அந்த கான்சிக்வன்ஸ்க்காக நான் பயமா இன்செக்யூரிட்டி வருது. But example, if my wife is nagging, if that is her personality, I must understand what is it that puts her off. Especially I realize, morning 7 to 8 my wife is the most irritable. 7 to 9 is the pressure time, most irritable. So you have to, it's like playing with fire. In Malaysia, in Malay there is called avas. Avas means danger. So I only keep thinking avas. If I have to go, okay, is it possible for me to have this? Cook for yourself, I'm not your servant. Can you make juice for me? You put the juice in the loft, take it down and juice it yourself. I am in the right house, she is my wife. What I am trying to say is exaggerating. She is not like that. Lovely person. I need to go back. Assess. When you assess, you have no problem. You don't complain. You relate with that person well. You give that space. You're able to relate with the world well. Bernard Shaw, the very famous philosopher, when he was asked who is the most intelligent man he met in his life, he said, the most intelligent man I met in my life, he said, was my tailor. And he was asked, why tailor of all people? He said, he's the only one who takes fresh measurements whenever I go to him. Only fellow who takes fresh measurements, otherwise everybody has no measurement at all. So you must take stock every time. What is the mood of my employee now? What is the mood of my boss now? If I want to request him something, is it the right time for me to ask? You got to calibrate. You must take a stock of weather. In certain places, having lived in Malaysia, I know umbrellas are carried every day in everybody's, ladies carry umbrellas throughout the year. Because every day it will rain. Never know when it's going to rain. You've got to be prepared for it. So if you operate on intellect, you will restore your peace which you have lost. But if you continue to operate on your whims and fancies, believing you can command the world and dictate the world for your own peace and happiness, you have lost it. Don't complain what the world is. Reforming the world is like straightening a dog's tail, said the great Ramatirtha. What are you complaining about? Sariya? Don't complain. What are you complaining about? Oh, I have straightened it. Leave it and see. Nature. Why are you complaining of the nature? Accept it. From assessment comes acceptance. But you don't assess, what will you accept? That's why I said the missing step between expectation and acceptance is assessment. The famous verse of Bhajagovindam. Moodha jahi hidha nagama trishna kuru sadbuddhim manasi vitrishna yallabhase nija karmopatam vitam tena vinodaya chitam. I am taking certain sections of the verse, not the entire verse. Which aspect of the verse is here, but I'll read the verse. He says, O fool, give up your thirst for aggrandizing wealth. Moodha jahihi dhanagama trishna. Give up your thirst. Kurusat buddhim manasi vitrishna. Instead of that thirst for the world, why don't you entertain thoughts of the reality, man? Better make good use of your time. Don't be foolish. Whatever you gain from your action, content your mind with that wealth obtained. So contentment is a byproduct of your thoughts. If your thoughts are running behind the world of grabbing and greed and raga, you want that greed, lobha, running behind your likes, running behind your desires, wanting to grab the world more for yourself, you will have no peace of mind. But you want to have peace of mind, instead of the thirst for the world, entertain the thoughts of the reality. And once you live, in fact, if you remember, a sattvic man eats remnants of sacrifice. You lead a life of higher cause. When you work for a higher cause, whatever comes as a prasad, you will be contented. But if you don't live this life of a higher cause, running behind the world, trying to acquire and amass the world for I and my, if that is your work's principle, you will never be satisfied. You are invoking the Ravana in you. Ravana wanted Sita. He wanted everything. He thought he could conquer Sita also. That is what your mind is. You follow prey to the Ravana in you, you have lost the peace of mind. You want peace of mind, you've got to arrest the Ravana and you've got to invoke the thought of the Rama, the higher self. Work for a higher cause. Every action, not what I can get for myself. Think for something beyond yourself, for a greater cause. What can I do to others? How can I serve others? If you work with this spirit, prasadam adhigacchati. You have a choice to change your course of action. You don't change and you complain, why is it happening? Don't blame the world, don't blame others. I see it so clearly. I see it as vividly as I see you. I don't know why people can't see it. I don't know. Sometimes it's so difficult to convey your sentiments. And even when you want to convey, it's difficult to convey. Even when I have a receptive audience like this, it's difficult to convey. I'm not blaming you. I'm only saying, throughout the Gita, he says, he who sees it, sees it. Yaha pashyati sa pashyati. If you have the eyes to see, you will see what I'm saying. And I can't let you see it, my dear friends. I can't, any amount of my ability, I can't help you see the truth, live the truth. You got to see it yourself. And that's where uddhared atmanatmanam. You got to lift yourself by yourself. No guru can help you. Krishna couldn't, Lord couldn't help Arjuna. He told Arjuna, you lift yourself by yourself. I'm there for you, but you got to put in the effort. You can't go to the gymnasium, the best gymnasium in the city, and you say, you go to the instructor and say, what is your price? I want to transform my body. Okay, so this is a very premium club. I said, don't worry, what is your price? So you have to pay minimum 2.5 lakhs. I'll be a personal trainer for you. 2.5, it will be a little lower that, but I will take care of your transformation. Okay, you say, okay, oh, only 2.5. Okay, never mind. I will give you 4 lakhs. I'll give you advance 6 months training. But I am delegating the transformation to you. You please, whatever you're saying, you do it for me. I'm giving extra, no? Huh? First you will see the check is real or not. Yeah, this fellow is a cuckoo fellow. You can't delegate your physical transformation to the gym guru and say, I will give you more, you please do it for me and transfer the health to me. No transference is possible here. I can only transfer knowledge, I can't transfer wisdom. Wisdom is something you got to build it your own. No guru can do it for you. So don't expect gurus to do miracles and say tathastu. Nothing will happen. The Lord's blessings is universal. It's not preferential. What makes you believe God is preferential to me and not to you, or vice versa? So don't believe in all those beliefs. Believe in your ability, believe in your capacity to transform yourself through that action. And in that you create a world for yourself. Essential principles. What are the essential principles? Now, the essential principles are this. There are the 7 aspects of a human personality. A human personality is dissected into 7 aspects. In the 18th chapter of the Gita, he divides these 7 facets into sattva, rajas, tamas. So when you divide or multiply rather these 7 qualities under sattva, rajas, tamas, you get 21 aspects of your personality. And these 7 of the sattva, for example, sattvic knowledge. So it all starts with knowledge. Anything you want to do, you need knowledge. From knowledge comes action. What kind of actions are you performing? Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. What kind of a personality? What kind of an actor are you? Are you of the highest order, mediocre, lowest order? And in order to perform any action, you need the buddhi. So what kind of intellect have you got? Sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. And then you see, one of the qualities of your personality is steadfastness. So without steadfastness, there is no success. So what kind of steadfastness? Rajasic, tamasic, sattvic steadfastness. Anything that you're doing, the fundamental objective of your life is you want sukkham, happiness. What kind of happiness are you running behind? What kind of happiness are you running behind? Are you seeking sattvic happiness in life or tamasic happiness? He defines it. Every quality, everything is beautifully dissected and laid out. Imagine if I give you a big cake and it is cut into 21 pieces, equally divided. You choose which you want. He dissects your personality into 21 aspects. If I'm not wrong, last retreat in Hyderabad, we covered on this quality. We do have these retreats. So please leave your details with us. When we do events like this, you can be a part of that exercise. We just get away for a few days, 2-3 days, if not sometimes more. In fact, as she did mention, didn't she, that we are coming up with a retreat in Rishikesh, the Holy Land. So the first time we are having a retreat there in Swami Dayananda Ashram, we are there, and then we are covering a text of Bhaj Govindam. That is just one aspect, and there's such a holistic whole exercise. So that's when the knowledge will sink in. Just coming and lending your ears for 1 hour is not going to transform you. You need to soak in it. That's when it starts fermenting. It starts transforming, then it becomes a part of you. So this we recently covered the last retreat in Hyderabad. We covered it. I'm not marketing, I'm only telling something came as a flash somewhere, we covered it. Now then, every action you're doing for happiness, how do you attain happiness? How do you get happiness? Anybody? The answer is on the board. The last segment, renunciation, tyaga. So from knowledge, action, actor, buddhi, steadfastness, happiness, Renunciation. 7 aspects of a personality. So if these 7 aspects are there, these are the essential aspects of your life, which will glorify your action. So any aspect of it is taken out of you, your action is imperfect. If there is no intellect, action is imperfect. If the actor is not good, is imperfect. If the steadfast is not there, imperfect. If the tyaga is not there, is imperfect. So all these aspects have to be there. Are you all with me? Are you all following?
Yes.
I know it's like a AK-47, I'm shooting at you all. What is going on? One by one, I'm just bombarding at you all. It's like each is a nuclear missile on you all. Before you realize, another nuclear missile is coming. What is difficult to digest. I can understand. So that's why I said, let me pause for a minute or a few seconds just to say Shanti, Shanti. Correct, huh? The 8th aspect of the glory of action is the non-essentials or the impediments. The concept of renunciation is one of the most misunderstood concepts in Vedanta. Because what do you understand by the word renunciation? Means giving away, renouncing, right? And if I were to tell you, please can you give up something which is very dear to you? Huh? I didn't know this was a condition of coming here. Who brought? I must first get hold of that person who brought me here. Yo, I got into deep trouble. I must give up something which I very dear to me. If at all you give something which is dear to you. That is true renunciation. Is not giving away something which is no use to you. That is getting rid of rubbish. Unnecessarily occupying my storage space in the cupboard, sir, give it away. Oh, then you glorify. You know, I've given away to them. What have you given? All rubbish, garbage. That is not giving. So, what the Shastras are saying actually is you must renounce the non-essentials. So, every product that you manufacture, there is a scrap product, right? So what is a scrap product when you perform action? When you're performing action, there is essentials and non-essentials. So when you renounce the non-essentials, then you enjoy the essentials. But people are thinking, when the Shastras talk of renunciation, something, I am going to give up my belongings, my wealth, my assets, something dear to me I must give up. No, you don't have to give up anything. Hold on dearly, what all you have, hold on to it dearly. Don't give it up, but give up your non-essentials. I'll give you 3 examples that perhaps will set the tone of what true renunciation is. You come to the house or you come to the institute, I'll offer you pistachio. In a tray, I'll give you a bowl full of pistachios. Don't come and expect that. Example only. Sir, you told us that you're going to give pistachio. Where is pistachio? I'll have to go pistachio shopping now. Example only. Imagine I give you a bowl full of pistachios and I don't have the time to remove the shell. So I've given you as it is to you. Then you have to go through the exercise. So when I give you the offer your pistachio, what do? You break away the shell, you discard the shell and you eat the nut, right? What is essential and what is non-essential there? Don't tell me the shell is essential. The shell is non-essential. Essential is the nut. So you're renouncing the non-essential, enjoying the nice crunchy nut, right? First example. I give you banana, that's plenty is there. Anytime you come, bananas are there. Pushpama has got a big farm of bananas. So whenever she'll come, she'll carry 2 dozen bananas. Moment I see banana, oh, Pushpama has come. That is our trademark. Her trademark is banana. So I request her, when you come, please come get seasonal fruits. She says, this is a season, throughout the year you get the bananas, she says. All season bananas. Sorry Pushpama. Please bring bananas, no problem. At least banana. She'll say, I give you ungrateful fellow. Everybody in front of everybody is saying like this. Now when I offer you a banana, what do? You swallow like a cattle? No, we peel and eat the fruit. So renounce the peel, enjoy the fruit. Sometimes when foreigners come, we get some chocolate packets. Locals don't give us. So it's a queue. Those of you who come, you can bring chocolates also. So when some chocolates are there, we offer chocolates. So ours also seasonal offering. Whatever is there, we keep offering. If I give you a chocolate, what do you do, Sujata? What would you do? Thank God, please do that. So you will unwrap the chocolate, discard the wrapper, eat the chocolate. So the wrapper is a non-essential, the chocolate is essential. So with a pistachio or a banana or a chocolate, there are non-essentials and essentials. So renounce the non-essentials, appendages to action, and enjoy the action. That is when you get into the true glory and the grandeur of action. Now the question is, what are the non-essentials of action? Forget now pistachio, forget banana, forget chocolate. Now come to the real stuff.
Ego.
What are the non-essentials of action? Yaar sunna there?
Ego. Ego, pride.
Ego. What is ego? Enakke solriya nee? That is ego. You think you know too much? Ego, as they say, is an exaggerated glorification of oneself. You put yourself, oh no, this asana is not right. My head should hit the roof. Put a few over height. Angen the pesla. So I am here, but my ego is there, skyrocketing. You people don't know who I am. You know who I am? You don't know. I am somewhere. That kind of an attitude. It's a glorifying yourself. And that ego also expresses as a doership attitude. Kartrutva bhavana. And having done whatever fruits you want, I have put in effort, I only must enjoy. Bhoktrutva bhavana. Kartrutva and bhoktrutva, both come from the doership attitude. I, ego. Very good, 100 points. Next, what is other appendages to action? Ramanamurthy garu. Unnara ikkada? What are the non-essentials of action? Sir, it applies to same, all of us same, sir. All over the world, all human beings have the same problem. Yes, sir? Anger. It's not in my list, sorry, pass. What was in my list only I'll say. Right, what is anger? In fact, we are going to see in the later part of the thing, of the end section of this explanation, you will see it. We talk about emotions. So when emotions are not under control, it is non-essential. It drains, saps your energy. Very true, correct. What are non-essentials? Anxiety for fruits. Very true. Frustration. Engin the word frustration? Edhukku frustration? When your anxieties are not met, you're frustrated, disappointed, frustration, all right? Okay? Of not attaining the fruit, right? Fair enough. Move on. I need to move on. What are the non-essentials? Worries. Absolutely. Anything more? Attachments. Very good. Take a note of this. A long list. Sapta Sapta. Sapta Prana Prabha. Saptarchisha, Samidha Saptahoma, all is Sapta, 7 continents, 7 days in a week, 7 impediments. So the first is your selfish attitude to work, your wrong motive to work you carry to work. That is, as we said, it creates a lot of issues. Second, ego. Third, attachment. In fact, when you say ego, there's a beautiful saying, it is not the clash of views that creates conflict, it's a clash of values, or egos rather. It's not the clash of views. You may have a different view, I may have a different view. If I appreciate your view, you can appreciate my view, and so each of you have a different standpoint. That's all right. But the problem is not difference of views, it's a clash of egos that creates serious problem in life. It's my view, not the view. So the accent is more on whose view it is, not the view itself. That creates conflict. So your wrong attitude, your ego, your attachment. What is attachment? You said attachment, sorry. What is attachment? Tell me.
It's too much of expectation from the action that you are going to perform. If it is, I'm doing something, then I'm also having some expectation from that action. And I think that me and the action is all the same.
But how would you call that as attachment? That's not attachment.
That is emotionally connected to a person or material.
There is a slight difference from what you're saying. Attachment is an emotional bondage to a person or a thing. And do you know there is a law which explicitly spells out what this attachment is? Law is not I have created it. Nothing is I created. It's existed. The laws which govern our life. What is the law? The law of attachment. That's another aspect, but this is the law of attachment. The law of attachment says, as you think, so you become. This is what you said, emotional bondage. If you are attached to a child, you become the child. You are attached to your property, you become the property. You are attached to your car, you become the car. Attached to your wealth, you become the wealth. Attached to your wealth, you become wealth. Attached to your name, you become the name. So if anything happens to the object of attachment, happens to you. If you attach to your wealth and you invest in stock market going down, what happens to your BP? BP goes down. Why is your BP going down when the stock market is going down? Because you're invested there, your wealth, your hard-earned wealth is there. You're attached to wealth, so whatever happens to wealth happens to you. The moment you become a public figure, everybody wants to have opinion of you. Imagine all of you go out and start having a strong opinion about me, negative opinion. Then what will happen? If I am attached to reputation, I will be the most stressed, sleepless nights. Look at these fellows, ungrateful fellows. Come and sit and listen and go and talk bad about me outside. I will be stressed out. That's what Shakespeare says. He says reputation is an idol, most false imposition. Oft got without merit, you get it without merit, lost without deserving it. When you should not lose it, you would lose it. When you should not get it, you get it. That is reputation. So why should you depend on loose talk? You can have your opinion. For some reason you put me at a pedestal. For no reason you will put me down at a pedestal. You will push me off the pedestal. Why should I be dependent on what you have, what you hold me in high or low regard? If I have a true assessment of myself, I am not dependent on any one of your opinions. Why should I? Again, Shakespeare says, give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. I reserve thy judgment, but I lend my ear to you. I don't want to be a prey to your loose talk. You can talk what you want. That's your privilege. That is not in my course, sir. He is telling me course to should teach. That is not in my course. I time adding more course to my teaching module. Look at Ramji, look at him. I must give another formula for attachment.
Sir, for attachment, can you say too much of ownership?
Possessiveness. It is you are obsessed with it. You, in fact, when you are attached, you say in any possession, there is a possessor, there is a possessed, right? I repeat, when I say this is mine, this is a clock, I am the possessor, this is possessed, right? But if I am attached to the watch or the clock, the possessor becomes the possessed. So the timepiece possesses me. Anything happens to it, happens to me. So I become a slave from the master. When I say my child, anything happening to the child, it affects me. The child is not well, the mother will be affected because the mother is so attached to the child. The father says, okay, give medicine and it will take time. Why are you worried? Don't disturb me. No, but still the fever is not coming down. Doctor told it will take 2 days. Stop worrying. The father has many things to attend to. The mother, ananya chinta on the child. I am only using the, a philosopher is meant to philosophize. Helplessly we do it. Yavasha karma adalla. So ananya chinta of the child, what happens? The mother becomes the child. Whatever happens to the child happens to the mother. But the husband comes back worried of the business not doing well. The wife will say, why are you worried? It will all go well. Eat the food. She is not worried of business. The husband is worried of business. That fellow is attached to, he is married to business. He has his problems. So she will come down. Relax. Everything will be fine. Don't worry. She will become his guru. See, this each one has the areas. So you are a slave of your attachment. So attachment is you become a slave. And the next day, as we said, is the worries and anxieties, the fruits of action, the complexes, the inferiority and superiority complex. And lastly, the feverish excitement in the present. So what are you supposed to do all this? You must renounce these non-essentials, right? And when you renounce the non-essentials, there's a very, very famous saying in the Gita. He says, Tyaga Shantim Anantaram. When whoever amongst us lives a life of renunciation, renounce all these which are a burden to you. Moment you practice renouncing the non-essentials, Tyaga Shantim Anantaram, peace immediately follows you. But if you say, no, I hold on to them stupidly, you will suffer. So you must learn to differentiate between essentials and non-essentials of life, essentials and non-essentials of action, and enjoy action with peace. And this gets me to the ninth aspect, which is renunciation in action. So the whole Vedantic study, the whole spirit of the glory of action is, how can I inject the spirit of renunciation which we just captured? So therefore, a beautiful saying, it is not renunciation of action. You don't have to abandon action because of a certain reason, but what you do is you get into the spirit of action with a spirit of renunciation. So you get into action with a spirit of renunciation. It is not renouncing action. It's not abandoning action. So I do whatever I have to do, but how do I do it? With an attitude of renunciation, with a spirit of renunciation. 3 verses. In fact, I took a mention of this in the essentials, the 7 aspects of the personality. I took reference in the 18th chapter. Now here I am talking on the 3 verses from the 18th chapter, verses 7, 8 and 9. Let's chant these 3 verses one by one, and then I'll explain the concept. Niyatasya tu sanyasaha karmano nopapadhyate mohatasya parityagaha tamasa parikirtitaha dukkhamityeva yat karma kaya klesha bhayatyajit sakritva rajasam tyagaha नैव त्यागफलं लभेत् कार्यमित्येव यत्कर्म नियतं क्रियतेऽर्जुन संघं त्यक्त्वा फलं चैव सत्याग सात्विको मतः. Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic renunciation. Now what is he saying in gist is this: the three types of renunciations are being practiced. The Tamasic renunciation is abandoning obligatory duties out of delusion. Out of ignorance you abandon your duties. You are renouncing, but what are you doing? You are abandoning your dharma. What you should perform, what you should uphold, what you should be true to, you are abandoning them out of ignorance or delusion. Not knowing what you should, you abandon it. You don't know the value of it, you give it away. There was there's a story, I don't know who it is, I think it was a royal family or a very wealthy family. He had a big stone. He used to keep it as a door stopper. Unknowingly, that actual stone was one of the most precious diamonds. Would you put your, if at all you have this size of a gem, you will not be wasting your time here. No insult to all of you, but I am saying that fellow, such a big stone, he put a door stopper, not knowing actually somebody told him, somebody who had an eye off to that and said, worth a fortune. When the husband went for a long business trip, the wife was fed up of something. This fellow is accumulating all old and unnecessary things and accumulating dust and space. So all the old furniture in the house, antique furniture, she gave it away, and she went to IKEA and bought the latest furniture. Furnished it, IKEA furniture, whole house. And all that old antique roadside fellow, she said, come and take everything. That fellow comes, immediately he had a heart attack, he went to ICU. When he knew that along with furniture, even the vintage car also she gave it away. Because occupying space in the garage. (1930s, 1940s) vintage car he had, that she gave it away. Because he doesn't take it out, doesn't maintain it, accumulating dust, the nuisance value for her. Now she renounced it. Garage fellow around the road said, come and take the vintage car. Roadside fellow, they weigh things, come and take the furniture. I don't want any money, take the furniture. Now she thought she did great thing by giving it away. What is it? Tamasic renunciation. Out of ignorance she gave away, not knowing the value of that vintage furniture, antique furniture and vintage car. Tamasic renunciation. Rajasic is you relinquish due to pain or bodily trouble. Some people don't go for medical checkups, you know. Why they don't go for medical checkups?
Let the sleeping dogs lie.
Ignorance is bliss. I am healthy. I am fine. Why they don't go? Fear what the report will tell. Bhayo. So out of fear, out of pain, what trouble they get into, they don't do it. It's not that they are healthy. The reason why they are renouncing is that. Now, if you look at the definition of sattvic renunciation, outstanding. There's nobody out there who has drilled this into your minds. I'm not blaming, I'm not complaining, I'm saying a fact. Here he says sattvic renunciation. Now let's actually perhaps read the actual verse. Whatever obligatory action which ought to be done, indeed performed. Sattvic renunciation. Whatever karma, whatever dharma you have to do, you perform it. how you are performing? Relinquishing attachment and fruit. So while you are doing your karma, you are renouncing the attachment and the fruit. Attachment to what you have, fruit is something you don't have. So both aspects you renounce and you perform your action. That is sattvic renunciation. And that is a sattvic life. You will never get tired. For us, there are no weekends and vacations. 7 days a week. There is no Sunday, there is no Saturday. If at all, Saturday, Sunday is more busy for us. 365 days, non-stop you will work. Your work will never tire you. I guarantee you. If you instill this principle. Alright. Ultimate purifier. There are a section of verses from the 3rd chapter. A very, very famous question Arjuna asked in the 3rd chapter. Arjuna uvacha atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. He says, Arjuna said, by what impel does man commit sin? Against his wish. Balat. What is balat? By force. So something in me is compelling me to commit sin against my wish. What is that force? What is that which is compelling me to commit a sin? I know I should not do it, but yet I fall a victim to it. What is that force within? I know it is wrong. I don't need a lecture by anybody. But still I am not able to hold myself back from not doing it. What is that force? Shri Bhagavan uvacha kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma Vidhyena miha vairinam nitya vairinam. It is your perpetual foe. It is your constant foe. It is your desire. It is your anger. Born of the quality of rajas. All devouring. Mahashanaha. Mahashanaha is all devouring. Devouring means it destroys everything. It is that desire is destroys everything. It is an anger that destroys. You mentioned anger, sir. Here it comes. It destroys everything. Ravana had desire for Sita. That one thought destroyed Lanka. Why are you talking of a story or something that happened? Okay. You know which is the costliest divorce in his human history so far? Huh? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe you are right. From what my limited knowledge is, Jeff Bezos. Who is Jeff Bezos? Founder of Microsoft, yeah? Huh? Jeff Bezos, costliest divorce in history, if I'm not wrong. Some billion, he had to give half his property worth few $1 billion, not million, $1 billion. For a reason, his wife caught him red-handed having an affair with his employee. Modern Ravanas. Ma kuru dhana jana yavvana garvam harati nimeshat kala sarvam maya mayamidam akhilam bodhva brahmapadam tvam pravisha videtva. Dhana, jana, yavvana, garvam. These are three reasons Shankaracharya says arrogance comes. So dhana, garvam came. Yavvanam, garvam came. Jana, following. If I have a following, I have arrogance. So these are the three reasons I mentioned. There may be other reasons. Mahashanaha. Mahapapma, all sinful. What is sinful? Desire and anger. Now in the 16th chapter, 21st verse, Trividham narakasyedam dvaram nashanamaatmanaha kama krodhastatha lobhaha tasmadetattrayam tyajet. Triple is the gate to hell. Triple is the gate to hell, which is a destruction of yourself. So this gate, which is triple, there is no grammatical error there. What is the grammatical error you note? SR? SR is, we have a self-realized soul amongst us. Self-realized soul, that's why we call him SR. Correct, Ramji Kada? SR. SR, what is the grammatical error in the text? It is intentional, it is not a grammatical error. If you said triple gates, it has to be 3 gates. But then he says dwara, dwaram, one dwaram, gate, single gate. Triple is 1 gate, he says. How can it be 1 gate? I'll explain. But he says triple is the gate to hell, which is a destruction. It destroys your inner self. What are the 3? Desire, anger and greed. Therefore one should abandon these 3, which are the gates to hell. Why he says 1 gate is because all are coming from desire itself. From desire comes anger, from desire comes greed. When your desire is not fulfilled, when your desire is not met, you get angry. I don't need to give you any explanation on that. We are all PhD scholars in that. Postgraduate, doctorates. But when desire is met, what happens? You get lobha, greed. You want more and more. So since these 2 come from desire, he says gate. But these 3 destroy your peace. You are invariably transported to hell. So this is why it is. The desire, any desire you have can either be fulfilled or unfulfilled. So when you unfulfill it, you get anger. When you fulfill it, you get lobha. Both way problem. What to do? Take up sannyas. Why find a good reason, sir, now? Please tell me an ashram. Would you have a place for me to come and join the ashram? No place. People like that who want to come and join our ashram, you have no place for you there. You don't want to run away from the world and come and seek shelter there. No. That is not what Vedanta teaches us. It's not what this Sanatana Dharma teaches us. In fact, Vedanta says go out into the world and live this life of higher truths and principles. Now, a quick mention of from the desire arises all these emotions. Anger and greed I have mentioned. From kama arises krodha, lobha, moha is delusion, mada is arrogance, matsarya is envy, அது ஃபீட் இல்லை ஃபியர். அதான் என்னடா நானும் பார்க்குறது ஃபீட்டை வந்து தருதுங்க, என்ன அப்படிலாம் வருதுங்க. ஸ்பெக்ஸ் மாற்றுங்கோ, டைம் வந்துடுது. அதான் கரெக்டு, அதுக்கு கண்ணு தான் இருக்கு இல்லை 2 பார்க்கறதுக்கு. ஃபியர், அவுட் ஆஃப் ஃபியர், ஃபியர் இஸ் மிஸ்பெல்ட், அந்த ஃபியர் வந்துடுதாங்க. கரெக்ட், அப்படியே இருக்கலாம் அது. So what do all these emotions do? Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, bhaya. What do they do? Avratam jnanametena jnanino nitya vairinam kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena nalena cha. What do they do? The wisdom is covered by this constant enemy of the wise in the form of desire. All emotions arising from desire, and what does desire and all the modifications do? They cover your wisdom, they envelop your wisdom, they cloud your wisdom. Your intellect, buddhinashat pranashyati. You have no head on your shoulders, no wisdom to lead your actions, you will destroy yourself. The famous words, buddhinashat pranashyati, which is the 62nd and 63rd verse of chapter 2, the ladder of fall of a human being. So you want to resurrect yourself, you want to give yourself a life, a direction, a purpose, you must operate with intellect. And the moment emotions come in, it disturbs you, it destroys you. Appa. Now I am saying therefore. When you say therefore? Conclusion. Tasmat tvamindriyanyadav niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Your jnanam and vijnanam both are gone down the drain. Nashanam. Tasmat, therefore, O Bharata Arjuna, another name for Arjuna. He says, controlling first the senses. Indeed, kill this sinful destroyer of knowledge and wisdom. Kill this enemy. Where is enemy? Right within me. Right within you, the enemy is there, and you are feeding it. You are entertaining it. You are pacifying it. You are feeding it. Not knowing it is destroying your peace of mind. He says, so he uses the very strong words. And using the word kill here because he's talking to a Kshatriya. So you don't have to take swords and fight and kill each other. Kill the enemy. The enemy is within you, which destroys your knowledge and wisdom. Now firstly he says, controlling first the senses. Why did they say control the senses first? He's very particular. He says control the senses first. Even Haagen-Dazs ice cream is in front of you, control the senses. Tongue may be watering, but it's okay. I say pass. Rasgulla is there in front of you. It's okay, okay. I learned today only that you must control the senses. If I fall a prey to it, all my wisdom is gone. So what to do? Control. Why should you say your spirituality begins at sense control? You want to conquer and kill the enemy, starts with sense control, he says. Why? Why sense control? வேற என்ன வேலை இல்லை, சும்மா சொல்லிட்டு ட்ரபிள் பண்ணுறாங்க இதெல்லாம் சொல்லிட்டு. I was nicely eating everything, enjoying. Now I have to have trouble. Every time something comes, I have to worry about it now. Yes, sir. Correct, But why did he say first the senses?
All impediments flow from there.
அப்பா அது ஒரு Ganges அது flow from thereனா என்னது இது? நீங்கள் எப்போவுமே பொய்டிக்காக பேசுவீங்களா நீங்கள்? நார்மலாக பேச மாட்டீங்களா நீங்கள்? I'm sorry, please forgive me, even though my mother tongue is Telugu, I must confess, whenever I talk Telugu, I stammer. బూతులు వస్తాయి బయటికి. So I am బూతులు అంటే I will not be articulate. So I am so comfortable in Tamil, so I naturally speak. Forgive me for those who can't relate to what little I blabber in Tamil. It's not that I am good in Tamil, but what little I speak, if some of you don't relate to it, forgive me for that. Why do you think he is talking of senses, ma? Any idea? Not you. Oh, am I having a squint eye or what? I'm looking at her, you are answering. Hey, straight up paakran, correct na? Yes, sir. Am I looking at you, now? You're not smiling. Ayyo. I must seriously go to an ophthalmologist very soon. Something is wrong with my eye. I'm looking at him, he's not smiling also. Oh, you're not able to focus. Adi paravalla. So anga problem anga irukku enga illa. Engo irukka problem paravalla. Any idea? See, why he says the senses first is this is the reason. If you see the order of grossification, The grossest is the world, the sense objects. Superior to sense objects is the sense is the body. Superior to the body is the mind. Superior to the mind is intellect. Superior to intellect is wisdom. So the easier, if I say control the mind, control your thoughts is difficult. So the easier to start your control at the senses level. So when you control the senses, you have control over sense objects, and from there it starts. So it's easier to control. Therefore he says start there. And only when you do all this, then you will have the last chance of achieving the highest. Otherwise, don't even think of highest. The last 11th aspect of the glory of action is you achieve the highest. How do you achieve the highest? The famous verse in the 13th chapter of the Gita, 30th verse, he says, Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha yah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. You must note the akartaram. He says, he who sees actions are performed by prakriti, nature, matter, and the self is actionless. So as a human you have the capacity to either identify with action or identify with the actionless. What is action? Action is performed by prakriti. Actions are performed by vasanas. Actions are performed by gunas. You can identify with the action and the vasanas and suffer, or you identify with the actionless principle, which is the self, which is the Atman, which is the enlivening principle. So he amongst us is able to differentiate between action and actionless. You will identify with the actionless. You will get to the self. By identifying with the self, you get to the highest. Because the self is the highest. That Brahma Vidya is the highest. Now as I am talking to you, with all that energy and vigor, even after 1.5 hours, I also don't know where I am getting energy from. Obviously it's all you all. So a lot of credit goes to you. Otherwise I am not this energetic usually. Correct? Huh? My wife is nodding, it's true. So as I have, my actions are energetic. What is enabling me to my body to act? The Atman in me. But is the Atman performing action? It is just that enlivening principle. Remember the definition we gave in the first day, I think so. With it, everything happens. Without it, nothing happens. It has got nothing to do with the happening. It's sharp 8 o'clock. Give me another couple of minutes, I'll wrap it up. Last one more verse I want to. The last punch. Then I retire. So one who sees the difference between action and actionless, he has a chance to get to the highest. And one of the best definitions of who is a yogi, who is a sannyasi. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Let's all chant. Those of you can chant along with me. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sasannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na chakriyaha. The blessed Lord said, he who does his bounden duty without depending on the fruit of action, he is a sannyasi. Who is a sannyasi? Who is a yogi? He amongst us who does your duty without depending on the fruit, not the one without fire, not the one without action. Na niragnir na akriyaha. What does it mean? It means this. A sannyasi or a yogi is a sattvic person, not the one without fire. Without fire means rajasic fellow. See, rajasic fellow runs behind desires, right? He doesn't have the fire of a goal. So not the one without fire. A rajasic fellow has no fire of a goal. Without action is tamas. So a sannyasi is not a rajasic person. A sannyasi is not a tamasic person. A sannyasi is a sattvic person. And who is a sattvic person? Not who wears ochre robes, not a person who puts namam and tilak. It's not one who puts all beads and all sorts of ornaments around him. One who does his karyam karma karotiyaha. Anashrita karma phalam. Renouncing your fruit of action, you do your daily duties. You become an unknown, unheard, unseen sannyasi, a yogi. No, I have to be announced. No announcement required. So this, in short, my dear friends, is the true glory of action. Right from the first step, the field of activity, the mode of conduct, the higher ideal, how dexterous your actions can be, how to achieve success, how to find peace and contentment, the essential principles, the non-essentials, how to operate with the spirit of renunciation in action, the ultimate purifier, and you attain the highest. I'll give you 5 minutes. If you want to ask any questions, I can clarify them. Otherwise, I am very much here. You can bring your questions in, as they have been announcing that we have classes not far away. 10-15 minute drive on a Sunday morning. You can come to the ashram where we hold our classes on the Gita, where I take up verse by verse. Here I am just skimming through the text. There actually we milk the text. Every word is extracted. The honey in each word is, in fact, we pause and examine. So those of you who are looking for that nectar, the real wisdom is there. This is just an appetizer, a teaser. So please come with your questions. You have ample opportunity to have a dialogue with the Guru and understand the text. But any quick questions, I'll be happy to clarify. Yes, sir. Okay, 1 minute, sir. Yes.
We have a system of performance management system. In any corporate world, I think this exists. And no matter whatever effort we do, we always tell that it is not a subjective thing, it is a very objective thing. But we end up having dissatisfied people, the people who feel that they have not been assessed properly, because it is always a question of somebody is getting assessed and some assessors are there. So if we have to come up with a very objective PMS, if I may say so, what should be the basic principle? Because there are certain actions that have to be performed by the people, and there are certain criteria which has to be put in place. Otherwise, the outcome is, of course, promotion, transfer, or linking it to some sort of training and development activities. That happens in any corporate world. So to come up with a very objective PMS,
What is?
performance management system.
Okay.
So what should be the approach and what should be the basic thing that we should be doing? I think we are missing out something. Well, I am not telling that we are not doing our job. In NTPC, it is one of the best PMS in comparison to any other public sector or corporate sector. But still, I can see that there is a lot of gap.
Sir, as I told earlier, what precedes action is knowledge. So if this structure is standing, if this structure or any skyscraper is standing, it is built on applied mathematics, not pure mathematics. Every calculation, every measurement is taken on the drawing board, and once that is certified by the authorities, by the right minds, then you get into action of putting it into action. So when you don't go to the drawing board and instill these principles, and it doesn't happen overnight, but somebody has to formally introduce these profound principles and put it in not pure mathematics and applied mathematics. So what should be given is applied philosophy has to be taught to you all with that principles. Once those principles are ingrained and reiterated, when they become a part of you, then your action falls in line with those principles. Then you will see a paradigm shift in your thinking, and it gives you a great result in objective result, as you're saying. But until that alignment is not done to the higher values, aligning to the goal, creating a synergy, working for a common cause, renouncing the non-essentials, not getting into the pettiness of creating inter-friction, The inner wear and tear causes a lot of loss of productivity and no happiness. So when these principles are taught and instilled, it's a matter of time. Don't expect quick fixes. Any learning, any transformation takes time. But once these principles are introduced from top bottom, because the leader always sets the tone for others to follow. The leader himself doesn't set the tone, the others will not follow in any organization. So once those principles are systematically, logically presented, it will take some time, but that transformation is permanent. Okay, sir.
In any case, people always link it with the outcome. If somebody gets promoted, somebody do not get promoted.
That's what
somebody is assessed. So, as you are telling, it
No.
has to flow from the top. I think that philosophy has to be there in the corporate objective itself.
Don't put anything on the walls, it will remain there. It has to be inside, not outside. No. What I am saying is, you should teach people the principle of karma. Karmani eva adhikara. Why are you worried of results, man? If you work hard, and if you are a conscientious worker, if you are a diligent worker, if you are a dexterous worker, results will automatically come. You are thinking of the fruit without sowing the seed. You want to ripe mango when you have not even sown the seed in your garden. How will you get the ripe mango? I am talking of the cause, you are talking of the effect. You see where we are differing. You want fruit, first sow the seed. The action will come only when you have the right principles. Because you yourself say there is a lot of potential, but we are not able to see. So that's where you can fine tune it. It will bring a phenomenal difference. Yes, sir.
There is one particular chapter of Bhagavad Gita which is a target of attack by anti-Sanatan forces. That is creation of this four castes. When everyone has got the Rajas principle, Rajas Guna, Tamasic, Sattvic and all that, by creating these four castes, for generations certain families are condemned to follow certain Swadharma or certain Vasanas. Why is it like that?
Right. I'll remove this because for the... See, it is a misunderstanding that is the cause. Don't blame the knowledge. They only mention, as I have said, these Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagashah. It's the gunas that differentiate you into a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Shudra. It's not by birth. What was intended rightly was misunderstood and became rigid, and it became an impediment. It's a curse today.
But actually in Mahabharata, you say, even when Lord Krishna was there, this was very rigidly practiced. And for example, Dronacharya refused to teach archery to a non-Kshatriya.
Sir,
And Parshurama refused to teach archery to a non-Brahmin.
I will take another...
Very rigid.
I will take another half an hour to explain the concept. I don't think you have time. If you genuinely want an answer from me, come to the ashram. That will tell whether you are sincerely asking or just asking for it. I believe you are genuinely asking. So Ingilla, afterwards. You please, we have misunderstood. What Dronacharya did to Ekalavya is far greater service than what he taught to Karna and Arjuna. We don't know what it is. What Dronacharya did, he applied the principle of what the Bhagavad Gita says, which the mantra reads, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami ma shuchah.